It started as just another ordinary summer day in Virginia, a day filled with laughter, plans, and the kind of energy only a 17-year-old could have. But by nightfall, that joy would twist into one of the most haunting mysteries the small town of Shipman had ever seen. A broken-down car on a lonely road. A stranger with a tattoo that seemed to stare back. And a trail of clues that would lead investigators into a darkness no one was prepared for. This is the chilling story of Alexis Tiara Murphy, a beautiful, vibrant teenager whose disappearance gripped an entire community and left her family searching for answers that would take years to uncover. Before we begin, I want to know, where are you watching from tonight? Whether it's a quiet little town or a busy city miles away, drop your location in the comments below. It's always incredible to see how far these stories reach. And if you love true crime documentaries that uncover real mysteries, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another deep dive like this one. Now, let's get into it. Alexis Tiara Murphy was born in Charlottesville, Virginia, to her parents Laura and Troy Murphy. She wasn't just another teenager, she was the kind of person who lit up a room. Smart, funny, confident, and deeply loved by everyone around her. Her smile was contagious, her energy magnetic. She was the captain of her high school volleyball team and was preparing for her senior year at Nelson County High. Her dream was simple: to keep playing volleyball in college and keep making her family proud. But Alexis wasn't only popular at school, she was also one of those early social media stars before influencer was even a word. She loved sharing her life online, dancing, joking, giving updates about her day. Her feed was a bright window into the life of a happy young girl who had everything going for her. Her mom, Laura, would later say that if Alexis were alive today, she would have been huge on TikTok. She had the confidence, the humor, and the charm, but what truly made her special was her kindness. Even with her popularity, Alexis was down to earth. She talked to everyone, smiled at strangers, and saw the good in people. Unfortunately, that gentle openness might have been what led her straight into danger. It was August 3, 2013, just weeks before her senior photos. Alexis was up early, dressed, and laughing as she rushed down the stairs. She was heading out to get her hair done for the big shoot. Her mom handed her some money before leaving for her shift at the post office, not realizing that would be the last time she saw her daughter alive. Alexis got into her dad's white Nissan Maxima, full of excitement, and drove toward Lynchburg, about 20 minutes away. She even posted online about the trip, a casual tweet, like so many others she'd made before. But that message would become her final trace. When midnight came and she hadn't returned home, her grandmother went to check her room, perfectly neat, bed made, as if Alexis had never left that morning. Panic set in. Calls went unanswered. Messages stayed unread. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. Her family immediately reported her missing, and by morning, her name and face had flooded social media. Friends, classmates, and even strangers began sharing her photo. But to investigators, this wasn't a runaway case. Alexis had no reason to leave, she was happy, loved, and had plans. Detectives retraced her route, combing through every camera they could find. That's when they saw her, Alexis, at a gas station in Lovingston, smiling, calm, filling up her car. But someone else was there too, a man. He held the door open for her as she walked out. His face was hard to see on the grainy footage, but one thing stood out: a large tattoo on his neck. He drove a camouflaged suburban Jeep, an odd, attention-grabbing vehicle. Something about him didn't sit right with the investigators. Was it just a coincidence? A kind gesture? Or the start of something much darker? 3 days later, a shocking discovery confirmed everyone's worst fears. On August 6, a white Nissan Maxima was found abandoned in a movie theater parking lot. It was Alexis's father's car, the one she had been driving that day. Her family rushed to the scene, but Alexis wasn't there. Her belongings were missing, and there was no sign of a struggle. But everyone knew Alexis would never just walk away from that car. Police quickly checked nearby security footage. Around 10:30 p.m. the night after she vanished, the video showed someone pulling into the lot, parking the car, and walking away. The image was dark and blurry, but what they saw was unmistakable. the driver wasn't Alexis. It was a man. Then came another lead: Alexis's cell phone signal. It had pinged near an old property just a mile from the gas station. When investigators arrived, they saw something hidden among the weeds, a camouflaged SUV, matching the exact one seen at the gas station. The house wasn't empty, though it looked like it had been forgotten by time. Inside a nearby camper, a man lived alone. He stepped out to meet the officers, and the first thing they noticed was chilling: a Daffy Duck tattoo stretched across his neck. His name was Randy Taylor. When asked about Alexis, Randy insisted he had no idea who she was. But the detectives weren't buying it. They requested to search his camper, and what they found inside would change the course of the investigation forever. On the carpet, a single earring, one that matched the style Alexis was known to wear. On a pillow, a strand of black hair. And near the floor, what looked like broken fingernails, tiny, desperate signs of a struggle. Each piece was carefully collected and sent for testing. When the results came back, the DNA confirmed the worst: it matched Alexis Murphy. Though police didn't arrest Randy Taylor immediately, they were certain this was no coincidence. His vehicle, his tattoo, his lies, everything pointed to him. People in town described Randy as strange, quiet, the kind of man you'd cross the street to avoid. The kind that made your instincts scream danger even when he smiled. And as investigators dug deeper into his life, what they found would expose a web of deceit, manipulation, and horror that no one in the quiet town of Shipman could have ever imagined. When the DNA results came back, they confirmed what detectives had feared all along: Alexis Murphy had been inside Randy Taylor's camper. Her hair, her fingernails, the evidence was undeniable. But the question that haunted everyone was why? Alexis didn't know Randy. They had no connection, no reason to ever cross paths. So how did her DNA end up scattered across his tiny, grimy trailer? And more importantly, was she still alive? Investigators hesitated to answer that last question, not because they didn't know, but because they were afraid of what the truth might mean. With every test, every new discovery, it became clearer that Randy Taylor wasn't just a witness. He was the main suspect in Alexis's disappearance. When officers confronted him with the DNA proof, Randy's calm demeanor shifted. His story changed, and it wouldn't be the last time. Suddenly, he remembered Alexis showing up at his camper that night with a man who had dreadlocks. He said the two came looking for drugs, that he let them in, shared a few beers, and later watched as they left together, laughing, happy, and very much alive. He even gave the man a name: Damien. Detectives immediately tracked down the man Randy was referring to: Damon, a local with a similar nickname. But there was one major problem: Damon was hundreds of miles away in Alabama on the night Alexis vanished. His alibi was airtight, backed by travel records and witnesses. The moment police confirmed that, they realized Randy had just lied to them again. And this time, it was enough. Randy Taylor was arrested on suspicion of kidnapping Alexis Murphy. As investigators dug deeper into Randy's life, the portrait that emerged was unsettling. People in town weren't shocked to hear his name. They described him as creepy, antisocial, the kind of man who gave you a bad feeling without even saying a word. Workers at the same gas station where Alexis was last seen recalled that Randy often parked there for hours at a time, just sitting in his camouflage SUV, silently watching people come and go. No one knew what he was waiting for, but it always made customers uneasy. Then came another disturbing clue. A clerk from an adult video store nearby told investigators that Randy had stopped in about 45 minutes before being caught on surveillance with Alexis at the gas station. He'd purchased several adult films, and his demeanor was strange. To police, it painted a clear picture: a man whose thoughts had already crossed into something dark and dangerous long before Alexis ever appeared on camera. With a search warrant finally in hand, investigators returned to Randy's camper. They tore through every inch of the place, desperate to find anything that could explain what happened that night. And that's when they made the discovery no one wanted to face. Under a small couch cushion, officers found a white t-shirt, a few black hair extensions, and a pair of false eyelashes, all lying together. It was the same shirt Randy had been seen wearing in the surveillance footage the night Alexis disappeared. But one side of it was stained, a dark, dried red mark that no one could ignore. Forensics confirmed what investigators already feared. The blood, the hair, the fibers all matched Alexis Murphy's DNA. The camper was no longer just a place of interest. It was a crime scene. And that wasn't the only thing they uncovered. Inside a drawer, police found a disturbing scrapbook, pages filled with magazine cutouts of women in revealing clothing. But the faces had been replaced, cut and pasted, with the photos of a much younger girl. When detectives looked closer, they realized it was the daughter of one of Randy's co-workers. A chill ran through everyone in the room. This wasn't just a man with bad habits, this was someone obsessed, dangerous, and deeply twisted. And just a few feet away from his camper door, buried in the grass, lay Alexis's cell phone, yet another piece of proof tying him directly to her disappearance. Still, Randy refused to confess. Sitting behind bars, he calmly insisted he had nothing to do with Alexis, claiming the police had the wrong man. But by this point, even hope itself was fading. Detectives feared the truth that Alexis was no longer alive. Her family, meanwhile, was shattered. Only days ago she'd been laughing with them in the living room, talking about senior pictures, volleyball, and the future. Now, they were searching for her body. It's impossible to imagine the pain of that kind of shift, from planning a photo shoot to planning a funeral. Alexis had gone out to run a simple errand. Something countless women and girls do every single day without a second thought. But she never came back. And soon, her parents began to realize they might never see her alive again. Weeks passed. Then months. Search teams scoured the woods, rivers, and highways across Virginia, but Alexis's body was nowhere to be found. The Murphy family's grief deepened with every sunrise. Yet even without a body, the evidence against Randy Taylor was overwhelming. Investigators and prosecutors decided to move forward. On September 24, 2013, just over a month after Alexis went missing, Randy Taylor was charged with first-degree murder, felony murder, kidnapping with intent to defile, and grand larceny. At his trial in May 2014, prosecutors laid everything out: the DNA, the gas station footage, the blood-stained shirt, the lies. There was no escaping it. On May 8, 2014, the jury found Randy Taylor guilty on all counts. By July, he was sentenced to 2 life terms in prison, no chance of parole. But Randy wasn't done trying to twist the story. Months after his conviction, he began writing letters to law enforcement claiming they'd got the wrong guy. His new story blamed another man, Jesse Matthews, a name already linked to other missing women in Virginia: Morgan Harrington, Hannah Graham, and Samantha Clark. Randy insisted Jesse was the real killer and that he was only covering for him. But when investigators compared DNA and other evidence, it became clear that Jesse Matthews had no connection to Alexis's case. He was guilty of other crimes, yes, but not this one. Randy's lies had failed again. And this time, no one was listening. Even with Randy locked away, the Murphy family still lived in pain. They wanted closure. They wanted their daughter home. At one point, Randy even tried to trade information, offering to reveal where Alexis's body was if prosecutors would reduce his sentence to 20 years. The Murphy family refused. Some things were worth more than justice. They wanted truth, not deals. Years passed with no sign of Alexis. Then, in December 2020, everything changed. While searching an area near the same gas station in Lovingston, investigators discovered human remains buried in the woods, not far from where she was last seen. 2 months later, in February 2021, DNA results confirmed what her family had feared and hoped for all at once. The remains belonged to Alexis Murphy. Medical experts determined she had been suffocated, and evidence suggested she had been sexually assaulted before her death. After killing her, Randy Taylor had dumped her body and phone nearby, erasing her presence like she never existed. But she did exist. She was loved, and she mattered. On June 6, 2021, what would have been Alexis's 25th birthday, her community gathered on her high school's football field for a memorial service. Family, friends, classmates, and complete strangers came together to honor the girl who should have had a lifetime ahead of her. Her ashes now rest in a peaceful garden built by her parents, a living tribute to her light and laughter. Even after everything, the Murphy family found a kind of peace. Their daughter's story became a warning, a reminder that danger can hide behind the most ordinary faces. Because Alexis wasn't in a dark alley or a strange neighborhood. She was just getting gas. And sometimes, that's all it takes. No matter where you live or how careful you think you are, stories like this remind us how fragile safety really is. Stay aware, stay cautious, and never ignore that small voice inside that whispers when something feels off. If you were moved by Alexis's story, leave a comment below, share your thoughts, and help spread awareness. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more real-life true crime documentaries. Until next time, stay safe, and take care of one another.